So what are we going to be discussing today? Today, we are going to first talk about the shift in the industry. What is happening? How is it happening? And why is it happening now? We'll then continue today's conversation by looking at how AWS empowers its partners to accelerate opportunities when it comes to generative AI. We'll continue today's conversation by learning how to even identify generative AI opportunities, because this is a new field. And some of us, sometimes, because it's new, you might not necessarily know that some of those problems that your customers are facing can be solved using generative AI. We'll then close the conversation by looking at how we can win together as AWS partners by leveraging the AWS Partner multi-partner framework. Welcome to GenAI for Africa. Thank you. So, we're going to start off with the keynotes, and it's actually me that's taking it. So, a round of applause for me. Yes. So, once again, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Emmanuella Etuk, and I am the lead for the cloud consulting unit here at Qucoon. Qucoon is an AWS advanced consulting and training partner. And this year, we achieved our generative AI competency, and we just so happen to be the first partner on the continent of Africa to achieve this competency. I think that deserves a round of applause. And it is because of this achievement, we feel it is now the time to have the conversation. So let's understand what is happening in the industry. Clearly, mountains are moving, things are shifting, things are changing, things are evolving. So let's first look at the GenAI trend through the years. It's safe to say that the journey for AI really kicked off in 2023. Now, in 2023, we were trying to understand what exactly is generative AI about. What does it mean? What does this technology do? We're asking ourselves the question, what is Gen AI? Is it a secure technology? Is it something that my customers can adopt? So in 2023, we're doing a lot of POCs, a lot of researching, a lot of testing, a lot of learning, a lot of training. And then we moved into 2024, the year of iteration and production. We took everything we learned in 2023 and we started building. We built, we failed, we succeeded, and we built again. So in 2024, the conversation was no longer what is generative AI. It became, how do I prioritize my projects? What new thing do I want to build today? Where do I want to focus my energy on? And now, in 2025, after building, after iterating, we now have finished products. And the new question is, how do I leverage agents to build value for my business? How can I leverage generative AI to turn into growth for my business? How can I use generative AI to make more money for my business? How can I use generative AI to make money faster for my business? Now, I'm sure it comes as no surprise to us that while the rest of the world is actually in 2025, majority of Africa is still stuck in 2023 and 2024. And that is why we're having this conversation now. Because we as partners, we need to work together to accelerate transformation in Africa, to accelerate adoption in Africa, so we can catch up with the rest of the world. Thank you very much. All right, so as I mentioned earlier, this is just the beginning of today's conversation. We've looked at the shift in the industry. We've looked at how things are changing. We've looked at the trend when it comes to generative AI over the past couple of years. Now, the next part of today's conversation is going to look at how AWS is empowering partners to accelerate GenAI opportunities on the continent. And taking us through that conversation today will be the lead SMB Business Development Manager of Qucoon, Chisom Aniekwensi.
Good afternoon, everyone. All right. So I'm just going to build on what Emmanuella said. She mentioned that there is a shift in the industry and a lot of businesses are adopting GenAI. So companies are also adopting it as well, and that is why AWS, they want to lead the voice, and they've created these funding programs for partners to adopt so that they can help accelerate the adoption of GenAI in the so I'm going to speak about 4 different GenAI funding programs that AWS has created for partners. Um, some of them we are aware of them. However, there's one on the screen which is the GenAI for Open Search that we're not familiar with, and I'm going to speak deeply to that. But before I do that, I'm going to speak briefly about the startup GenAI incentives. How many of us is aware of startup GenAI incentives? None of us. All right, I assumed. So, Startup GenAI Incentive is a funding program that AWS created for partners when they want to work with startups. So, usually, startups are at the forefront of technology because they're easy to build and they use technology a lot more better than enterprise customers. And that's why AWS created this program for them. If you want to migrate a startup to AWS or you want to build for them, one of the things that you can do for them is to assess to see if they have GenAI applications or they would like to use GenAI for a particular use case. So when you do this assessment for a startup, AWS will credit you with $5,000. That's to tell you well done for doing this assessment for them. Oh, okay. I will. I will. I will. So when you work with a startup, whether it's for a build program or a migration, if you do a GenAI assessment for them, you are awarded $5,000 for doing that. You need to get an architecture to prove that that's a solution that will be good for the environment. So that's it for startup GenAI incentives. Now to POC funding. I think we should be aware of that. It's the normal POC, 10% of ARR. You're aware of it. Yeah, so that's it. You can also use it for GenAI as well. You can use it for your GenAI workloads. Now we have the Rapid Pilot Program. I know that no one here is aware of this program because, like, it's a pilot program. It was a program that AWS created about 2 months ago. They just created it for GenAI competent partners because they want to lead the voice. They want to lead the voice of GenAI, and they want to be at the forefront of it. So they created this program so that partners will be able to assess the environment of enterprise customers or even SMB customers so that they can see if there is an opportunity to either build a GenAI solution for them or migrate their GenAI solution, maybe from on-prem or wherever it is, to AWS. So that was the essence of this program, but it's over now. However, we were able to be a part of it because we are GenAI competent partners. So now I'll be speaking to GenAI for Open Search. GenAI for Open Search is only for GenAI competent partners. However, because you're in this room, we can speak about it later to see if you have a customer that would like to use the Open Search service, and then we can talk about how we can do this deal together as a GenAI competent partner. We'll bring our expertise to the room, and then you bring your sales expertise as well. So for GenAI funding for Open Search, it's a program that AWS has brought because Open Search is an AWS service. It's a database just like DynamoDB. It's a managed database, but it's a special one for GenAI services. So most customers that want to run GenAI services in their environment use OpenSearch because it's very, very good for GenAI. And that's why AWS has created a program for it so that it will accelerate the adoption of this particular service on AWS so that a lot more customers would know about it, because they don't know about it and they use other databases that they find elsewhere. So if you are able to get a customer that is willing to adopt GenAI, and you can tell them about this service, and as a partner you can help them use the service, because if the deal size is 50K, up to 50K ARR, you'll be able to make money off it. That's one of the criteria to get the money from the Open Search funding. Another thing is that you have to make sure that it's a partner generated opportunity. If it's an AWS referred opportunity, you will not make money off it because AWS does not recognize it as your effort. So if you do get a referral from account manager, you can speak with the account manager and tell her that if you want us to close this deal, if you want us to build for this customer, this is the way I can help. I have to create it on my own end. And then the the account manager should be able to do that with you. Another thing is that you can stack it with POC funding. The usual POC funding is 10% of ARR. You can apply for that, as well apply for open search funding. So now let's go to how much you would make if you're to apply for open search funding. You're to make 15% of the ARR in partner cash. AWS will sort the customer out with credits. This is how much you make. It's capped at 50K, however. So if you do think that maybe you got $1 million size deal and you think that 50K is too small for AWS to pay, you can discuss with the account manager, you can discuss with your PDM as well, and they will find a better deal for you. You can discuss that and they can tell you how to go about that particular deal. But that's outside of this particular funding program. That's something that you can agree with AWS on. So the essence why we're speaking about the funding programs is that we want you to be aware of the funding programs that are associated with GenAI. A lot of people are not aware of it, especially because they're not GenAI competent partners. And then we also want you to know that you can work with a partner on AWS. You can collaborate on deals, and then you can speak about how many percent will be yours and how many percent will go to the partner. You can work with someone like Qucoon that has the technical expertise when it comes to GenAI, especially because GenAI is leading technology right now. And I'm sure we all want to be at the forefront of technology. We also want to make money as well. So that's one of the reasons why we're telling you about this funding acceleration program, so that you're well aware of it. And when you do find an opportunity that speaks to these programs, you can take advantage of it. So thank you, everyone.